Will you abolish the House of Lords, and will it be in your first term?
Yes, we do want to abolish the House of Lords. I don't think anybody can defend the House of Lords. It's one of the recommendations, as you know, in today's report. What we're going to do after today is now consult on those recommendations, test them, and in particular look at how can they be implemented.
I'm just curious to know how much of a priority would that be? Would that happen in, for example, a Labour's first term in government?
Look, I'm very keen that all of the recommendations in the report are carried out as quickly as possible. So we will now have, after today, a process of consultation, testing the ideas, and with a view to how do we implement them. It'd be surprising to have a report of this size if we didn't then consult those affected to how do we implement this. But to be very clear in answer to your question, the reason we're having the consultation now before the election is because I'm absolutely determined that an incoming Labour government will be a government of delivery. Therefore, I want the consultation out the way before the election, and then I want to get on with delivering. Very important role in scrutinising legislation. I think everybody recognises that. We've got hard-working members of the House of Lords who do a really good job on scrutinising legislation. So, of course, we want the best people in there, unless and until there's change.
Your wife works in occupational health for the NHS, as we know. We clap for workers like her throughout the pandemic. But now staff are being blamed for bringing COVID into care homes by the former Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, and the subsequent deaths of a lot of elderly people. What do you make of his comments in his new book?
I think you've already seen the response of many people in the NHS to that, which is they find what Matt Hancock has to say on this deeply, deeply insulting. He was the man that said, he'd put a protective ring around our care homes. He did nothing of the kind. And for him now, having just got out of I'm a Celebrity, to start now publishing his diaries with his version of events, when so many people on the front line put in so much day in, day out.
Would membership of the single market boost economic growth?
No, at this stage I don't think it would, and there's no case for going back to the EU or going back into the single market. I do think there's a case for a better Brexit. I do think there's a very strong case for making Brexit work.
Sorry, let me just ask you, you don't believe, Rija, I understand the political point, but you don't believe that being in the single market would boost our economic growth, despite everything we know about how trade has gone down and about the problems for our exporters?
Yeah, I think, look, trade has gone down because the deal that we've got is not a very good deal. I think we can move from getting Brexit done, which is all that we've managed at the moment, to making Brexit work. And I do think there's a better deal. But do I think, just to take your question on head on, that going back into years of wrangling, years of uncertainty is going to help our economy? No, I don't. And I spent many, many years post-2016 talking to businesses who said to me over and over again, the thing that's hardest for us is all the uncertainty. And that really, I think, for many years held us back. And I don't want to go back to that. But I do think that we can move forward to a better deal, because I do not think this one is working properly. But
let's imagine, let's imagine you're Prime Minister, it's the middle of the decade, and we are in a position where there is stagflation. I'm wondering whether you are prepared to be bold enough, radical enough, to revisit your current position on not rejoining the single market and the customs union, and have a bold, radical conversation in the interests of the economy.
Well, look, Michelle, I understand and will absolutely improve on the deal that we've got. But let's just recognise that the low growth in our economy has been going on for 12 years. It preceded Brexit, it preceded COVID, and it preceded Ukraine. There is something fundamental about the way our economy works.
OK, ambulance drivers, RMT members, nurses, midwives, teachers, Royal Mail, FBU are balloting today. You've been, we see every week when it comes to PMQs, the Prime Minister saying that you're step by step with the union barons. How much can these unions expect your support?
Well, look, I completely understand the pressures on working people in each of the areas that you've discussed or just listed. You know, I think everybody watching this will feel that they can't pay their bills, prices are going up, they're in the supermarket, they're picking stuff up, putting it back down again. So there's massive pressure down on people, and I'm not surprised across the country that many individuals are saying, I need a pay rise. But does that mean I want to see strikes and disruption? No, it doesn't. Both sides need to compromise. Both sides need to finish the negotiations, and the government needs to drive them forward. The government's been sitting on its hands in this. That's not good enough. And I think if you look at the example of Wales, you can see that with a different approach, this could be resolved.
Is the RMT wrong to reject the latest offer?
Well, look, I'm not going to start getting, you know, saying one side's right, one side's wrong. What I do know is if you had a Labour government, we would get people round the table and resolve these issues. That, and I'm not just saying that, you can see that has happened in Wales, that has happened in Scotland. Why hasn't it happened elsewhere? Answer, because the government is sitting on its hands. Get on with it. I went to Blackpool and spoke to 16, 17-year-olds there who, I asked them the question, are you proud of Blackpool, where you were born and brought up? They all put their hands up, yes. And then I said, how many of you think you're going to have to leave Blackpool to get the job that you want? And all bar one put their hand up. And the one hand that didn't go up was the person who wanted to teach in the college in which we were sitting. And so we've got to answer a fundamental question about fixing our politics and fixing our economy, and that's what this report is sort of centrally focused on.
I saw Angela Rayner, Deputy Leader, of course, sharing a video of herself DJing at the weekend. Her choice of song was Set You Free by Entrance. What would your song be?
Well, look, I phoned Andrew, actually, after I saw that video footage and said, we're like yin and yang, which is what she always says. And I said to her, when I saw that footage, I couldn't do that. But she was absolutely brilliant, I thought, and good on her.
Yeah, but what would your song be? Come on, it's easy. Football's coming home. Go on, I'm giving it to you.
Oh, well, football's coming home, of course, already. Edwyn Collins' Orange Juice song. But football's coming home would be the great one for now.
OK,
but I wouldn't
to you.
dance like Ange for that one.
OK, so Keir, it's good to talk to you. Thanks a lot.